Don't hit your phone. Don't hit your phone, you can't close.
All right, 9 o'clock on Tuesday, September 12th. This is the annual meeting of the Oakville County Board. And the clerk call the roll, please.
Alt.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Spence.
Here.
Bowers.
Here.
Crowe. Present. Ducat.
Here.
Geiger.
Here.
Hughes.
Yeah.
McGinnis.
Here.
McTaggart.
Present.
Awful. Here. Sure.
Yep.
Watts.
Here.
Whitlow.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
And Zumal.
Present.
Okay, Ms. Russell.
Today we have Mitchell Dennis from the First Christian Church. He's taking place at your faculty today. So, Mitchell, thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Will you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. I pray that you guide us always. Satisfy the needs that need to be met during this meeting. Strengthen us as we make tough decisions. I pray that we will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. I pray that we will be fruitful. Father, please guide us so that this meeting can be productive. Let us be effective and decisive. And all God's people said amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next we need a motion to approve the agenda. Mr. Hughes, is there a second? Mr. Williams. Any questions or comments regarding the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. I believe everyone has received copies of the minutes from the August 8th session and the special session on August 18th. We have a motion to approve those minutes. Awful, second by Mr. Williams. Are there any questions or comments about the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Next is payroll. We have a motion to approve payroll. Mr. Williams, is there a second? Mr. Dunwall. Any questions or comments regarding payroll? None, will clerk call the roll, please.
Sure. Behrens.
Yes.
Spence.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe. Yes. Ducat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumal.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes. Okay, public comments. Do we have any public comments? Mr. Raymond.
Recently, we've had another internet outage. The Finance Committee heard my comments at this month's meeting. We've suffered a total of 5 internet outages since June of 22. Obviously, we got the first in June. Then we had a motor vehicle accident in Halloween. We had a fiber card outage at the local office in St. Anne. We had another time where the pedestal was taken out, which has taken out all, not only just 911 services, but it took out all cell phone services within this county. That's a huge challenge. The most recent outage that we had was a power outage that was during Watseka Family Festival, pretty much from Dairy Queen eastward. All of our power went out, and for some reason our internet went out with it. Now there's a lot of factors at play, none of which we could ascertain, because by the time I could figure out what it was, power was restored, so we couldn't actually figure it out. But nonetheless, the outage was still the same. This took out 911 services, specifically our mapping. This took out a lot of our other services as well. Our phones, we're all running on voice over IP in this admin building. That means internet protocol phones. Everything goes down when this happens. When our internet goes down, that takes out our mapping. So when you dial 911 and you hear 911, what is your location? And we hear, I don't know. I don't have a map to get them. So we're then trying to find any backup possible to try and pull that information from them. Where were you driving? What were you doing? Anything we possibly can. We're having a lot of challenges trying to get our IT vendor to get the information to the finance committee so they can figure this out and make a decision. I'm coming to all of you to make sure that you're all really aware of what this situation is. It needs to stop. We cannot continue to kick this can down the road. We're just going to hurt the constituents. This community is not going to be as safe as it needs to be. Thank you.
Any other public comments on that?
Morning. Hello, I'm Ashley with RPC Workforce. We're down here in room 109. Just some updates of what's going on. Right now we have open enrollment for ages 16 to 24. What that means is anybody who's like a school dropout, over the 18 that's already graduated high school. There's a couple other different requirements, but we definitely would like to get some more youth. So if you guys know of anyone that is, you know, a dropout or anything that needs to go back to school, send them my way. Currently I have 6 seniors that are going to graduate here in 2024, and they're the last group of in-school youth that we're going to be doing. Our in-school youth program is actually going to, for the time being, I guess, go to the, you know, to the side. We're going to focus on out-of-school youth and then our adults and our dislocated workers. This year with the Job Club, I am going to be having the Watseka Police Department and the Fire Department come, and I'm looking for speakers for target sectors. From logistics, ag tech, construction, manufacturing, healthcare, and business services. So if anyone knows anyone that would love to come and speak, I'm going to be having these meetings once a month until May. Someone that can come and kind of explain their job, explain what's going on, try to get these youth interested in different aspects. They don't, as a child, you basically just see what's in front of you. They don't really understand what else is entailed with all the different businesses and all the different things that are going around around us. I know that Illinois is trying to develop a program now to where these kids start learning all these different types of programs, but right now they don't. So my 16 years that I do have, which there'll be about 8 kids there, because I do have one that's from a different division of ours, but they need to know. So if you guys know any speakers, please send them my way also, because I would love to have them come and speak. We're going to be meeting on Wednesdays. It'll be like 6 to 7:30 once a month. I did have 2 out-of-school youth complete the KCC CNA program in August and passed. One is applying for the jobs in the area, and unfortunately the other one fell and broke her ankle and she was unable to work until October, and then she's planning on moving to Florida, so right now she's trying to transfer her Illinois CNA license to Florida. 8 of the in-school youth did do summer work experience. We had them working at the Watseka Library, the VA Assistance Office, TD Metal, IMH, Riverside, and Bertrand's Farm. These were all very successful. And we had 1 new out-of-school youth roll into college, and he's at Chicago Moraine Valley doing auto mechanics. For the adults, right now, our open enrollment for them should start in October. We don't have an exact date yet, but of course there'll be flyers on my door and everything when we do. We'd like, obviously, to bring in some adults that, you know, qualify for our program under like low income, BSD, dislocated workers. Bring them in if they're ready, if they're interested in going back to school and upgrading their education. That would be great. We did have 2 new enrollees, or 3 new enrollees this term. 2 of them were dislocated workers and the other was an adult. We have 5 of our adult participants enrolled at KCC. They're in programs such as nursing, physical therapy, early childhood education, and computer tech. We have 1 enrolled at DAC. She's going for an LPN to an RN program. And then I have 1 enrolled at Microtrain, doing a computer software, and 1 enrolled at Chicago State University doing paralegal program and should be done by the end of October. And then I have another one attending JVCC for CDL program at the 160 Driving Academy. I have spoke to 3 interested inmates who since we started the STAR program. Each of them is given the form to fill out, and then they emailed it to me. Then I read over the form, I see what kind of information I can provide with them, and then I send them over. I go and see them and go give them some information and tell them to come see me as soon as they get out. So hopefully I'll start seeing a flux of them coming back in and coming to see me when they do get out. And then I guess there's posters posted in the county jail now of ours and what kind of opportunity they might have coming to see me too. Open enrollment for spring was only open, I'm sorry, I just said that it's going to be open for spring of 24 will be open in October. Outreach, I will be attending the county board meetings every 3rd month, so I'll be back in December. I am here majority of the time, Wednesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 12, but I always make sure there's a note posted of my hour changes, so that way if there's any ever information. A lot of times I'm still here in the afternoon, so people can come in, but if you know anybody who needs to have help with a resume or a cover letter or interview prep, or is just interested in trying to figure out if they can go back to school and if they'd be qualified, please send them my way. If I'm there, I will definitely help them. In July, we were at the county fair, and we brought the mobile workforce van. The event was not successful for us. We were there. It was parked all week long. I was there for a total of 10 hours, and I had 1 person walk up to me, and that's it. So we probably won't do it again next year, and if we do, we probably won't bring the mobile workforce and maybe just try to be inside where all the other vendors were. We were at the Family Festival last month, and same thing, not very successful. People just don't, of course, I don't really care for the designs on our workforce vans because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Basically, it's just got our big, logistics, construction, and people may not understand what that really means. So that is something that they're looking at, but they're also considering finding a way to get incentives to have people come to our tables because, I'm sorry, but everybody goes to a table if they see a pin. I don't know why, but they do. We have asked to be a part of Harvest Days and planning to bring the workforce van again. I've talked to them, but I haven't got a confirmation yet, so I'm still waiting on that. Success stories, I have the 2 CNAs that graduated in August from KCC. Each of our summer WECs were successful, and I placed 4 of them back into a WECs for the fall. All 4 of them are actually working at IMH right now. 2 of them in maintenance and 2 in dietary. October of 23, a paralegal student will be completing her degree. I'm asking my 5 seniors that graduated last year and my CNAs this summer for success stories, so I'm hoping to be able to share that. I'm looking for an employer that needs help around the store, maybe does not have enough on the budget to pay another employee but could use one. Please let me know if there's an employer you think that's in the Watsika city limits. I have a youth that's 22 that's looking for employment and would be covered under our WEX employment. So that basically means that our WEX would pay for the entire employment. We pay for the insurance and we pay their wages. So I'm looking for a business around here that could use an extra hand, but maybe just doesn't have the money to hire somebody else. So, you guys have any questions? All right, have a great day, guys.
Do we have any other public comments? 3 women outside want to come in, I think. There's 3 women outside wanting to come in. Go ahead, Mr. Bard.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the Iroquois County Board, I'd like to make a few comments about the Grant Street Drainage Project. That runaway train, if you will, that you've been following along with. Now, Why do I call it a runaway train? Consider this. For years, this land that the county owns, this parcel of land just east of Loveridge Lane, has sat there. When it rains, it gets water in certain spots. It cools up, it drains away, but it's been that way for years. Now all of a sudden, we've got to get it drained out. Why? Well, the mayor of Watseka said the city will go half with you to drain everything that you want to drain if you drain that out. The question that begs to be answered, ladies and gentlemen, is why is it all of a sudden such a subject, such a hot subject, to get this done, where it's sat there for years and years and nothing's been done? Ask yourselves that. Now, if this is done, who will be impacted by this? The people of Watseka, ladies and gentlemen, the citizens of Watseka. They're already digging deep in their pockets to pay for living in Watseka, for mortgages, car loans, groceries, go out to eat, water bills. People downtown that have just an office, maybe 2 people in it, insurance, attorneys, real estate, $90 a month for water. Maybe use just a few hundred gallons, $90 a month. The people of Watseka, if you pass this and bring the city of Watseka on board, will have to dig deeper in their pockets over time, have to pay more in taxes. Those funds have to be replaced. They have to be replaced. You can't just drain a fund. It has to be replaced, folks. Now, how has this all come about? Well, like I say, the mayor came and said, we'll go halvesies with you. Wow, great, we can't look a gift horse in the mouth, can we? Well, let's look at some things. Has the city council voted on this? It was brought up to them months ago. Vote was never taken, sitting on a back burner. How about the funding? No one that I've asked seems to know where the funding is coming from. What fund will be used for this? That has to be replaced when you take it out. Yet nothing's been said about that. Why did the mayor be so generous with the city's funds without first having it down in writing at a meeting that the city council approved of it and it will come from a certain fund? Because he gets his backyard drained, folks. 4 years ago he said something to the county board, and he said, I'd like to have something done. Nothing was done. And you know my feelings on that because I've expressed them. Now he's up the ante. He's willing to throw in maybe $150,000 at the expense of the taxpayers of Watseka. You cannot vote to go ahead with this and include the city. Tell the city they're out of this. This drainage of that land, forget about it. He feels entitled. He thinks he can do it because he's mayor and just jump over all the hoops that he should be jumping through. I thank you.
Ira?
I'll be quick, I promise.
It's fine. You have 5 minutes like everyone.
Oh, I won't even take a minute, probably. For those of you that don't remember me, my name is Kyra Ebert, and I am the Chief of Staff for State Representative Jason Bunting. And last month, Ameren had a public open house on their transformation grid project. At that specific meeting, I asked if we could get a large map locally of Iroquois County and Ford County, and I received those in the mail via UPS yesterday. So if you guys have anybody that has any questions, wants to look at it closer in detail, I do have those at my office. So, and I know that they're planning on doing another public open house. They had said October at the last meeting, so I haven't heard anything more, but I'm sure that'll be coming out soon. So, thank you.
Okay, do we have any more public comments this morning? Seeing none, we'll move along to the chairman's comments. I guess one of the nice things about being the chairman is that when we have occasions like today, I have the honor and opportunity to speak on behalf of the board and recognizing someone's service. Usually it's somebody that's sacrificed their time serving the county for an extended period of time. And today we're here to recognize Robert Yergler for his service. We have a resolution that I'm going to read. Following that time, I'd appreciate a vote to approve that. It says resolution number 2023-34, resolution of appreciation for exemplary service. Whereas Robert Yergler has served faithfully and with honor for over 17 years in the office of Supervisor of Assessments, whereas he was appointed to his first term as Supervisor of Assessments on May 15, 2006, and reappointed to 4 subsequent terms as Supervisor of Assessments. Whereas he assumed the role of Zoning Administrator in October of 2015 upon the retirement of the incumbent Zoning Administrator. And whereas his distinguished service to the county represents the best tradition of excellence, dedication, duty, and competence in office, now therefore the Iroquois County Board takes this occasion to commend him for his exemplary service to Iroquois County and extends to him the county's heartfelt and sincerest wishes for success and happiness throughout his retirement, and good luck with his fishing. We have a motion to approve this resolution, please. Mr. Ducat.
I'd like to make that motion to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. McGinnis, would you call the roll, please?
Benz,
Yes.
Bowers,
That makes it
Crowe,
official.
yes, Ducat,
Yes.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
McTaggart,
Yes.
Awful, Sure,
Yep.
Watts,
We got it.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, would you like to say a few
I'll say a
words?
couple things.
Thank you.
First of all, thanks to John and the current county board for this recognition. I really appreciate it. As it was stated in the resolution, I was started in 2006. And if some of you remember, some of you may not, at that time, the public trust of the assessment office was pretty low. And the the working relationship between the assessment office and the county board wasn't the best, and the working relationships among the elected officials and the department heads in this particular building wasn't very good either. I'd like to personally thank Ron Schroeder, Jerry Haynes, Jim Hurt, John Kuntz, Jim Meyer, Kevin Hansen for offering me this opportunity in 2006. And one of the first tasks that they instructed me to take on was to fix those 3 issues, amongst other things. And all I can say is hopefully after 17 and a half years, I was managed to, with the help of my staff and a lot of hard work and a lot of time spent, I hope we have accomplished partially those 3 objectives of the office. Obviously, we've made several other strides technology-wise. I won't get into all that. So people ask me if I'm enjoying my retirement, and I say yes. And if I miss it, and I said, Well, no. I miss the people in this room. I miss the people in the building. I miss all the great friends over the years I've come acquainted with across the state of Illinois. The assessment field is a great small family, great people, but it was time. So it's time for new leadership, new vision. I was done with my service spent, and I really appreciate it all. And thanks for everyone, and have a good day.
We'll move on to outside organization reports. Angel?
Good morning, Chairman, members of the Iroquois County Board, and guests. I'm Angel Crawford, the Executive Director with Iroquois Economic Development Association, and here is IDA News for September. At the end of August, IDA hosted a lunch and learn with Liz Gibson, the Regional Council Manager with Birth to 5, along with numerous Iroquois County stakeholders to talk about the Birth to 5 Childhood Needs Assessment Report for Iroquois and Kankakee counties. As you know, this report was created by holding a year-long listening sessions with area child care centers, home child care businesses, and families with young children. Also, we learned about upcoming funding to assist existing daycares and to help create new daycare centers in Iroquois County. This critical report is still open for everyone to still give their input. The final report will be submitted to the Illinois Department of Human Services and the Illinois State Board of Education and can impact policies, funding, and resources for Iroquois County child care providers and families. To read the report and give your input, I'm handing out a flyer to everyone to share with the child care providers and families in their districts. Again, please share this information, and if you have any further questions, reach out to our office today. Last week, we were honored to attend the Inca Brazos groundbreaking ceremony for their new 250 million plant expansion. Last year in February, I met with the owner, Rogerio Ribeiro, Quality Control Manager, Carrie Fogarty, Inca Brazos staff, Mayor Thiesfeld, and the numerous representatives from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity to open up conversations about Inca Brazos' future plans and how IDA, the City of Gilman, and DCEO can help with these plans. Since that date, we have continued discussions relating to programs to help with tax credits, reimbursements for training, and roadway improvements. This expansion will create 40 new full-time positions, which means sourcing local workers, housing resources, and child care providers too. We look forward to working with Inca Brazos in these efforts and will continue to provide additional resources to help as this expansion rolls out in the future. In closing, get ready for some fall fun in Iroquois County. September 15th, 16th, and 17th, which is this weekend, is Sheldon Fun Days. There will be a pancake breakfast, chicken dinners, tractor rides, bag tournaments, soccer games, car show, and Back Pages rock band will be in the beer tent, and there's a parade on Sunday. Be sure to grab a raffle ticket for the chance to win a freezer full of meat sponsored by Sheldon Plumbing and Heating and the Caddy Shack, or win a Blackstone Grill sponsored by Weber Plumbing and Heating. Lots of fun for all ages. Also, this Friday and Saturday is Artesia Brewing's Oktoberfest Beer Festival in Thawville. Enjoy their special release German-style beers and stay for live polka music. Horseradish German Restaurant will be serving scrumptious food. Drindels, lederhosen, and other traditional German clothing are welcome too. Next weekend, September 23rd, is Wild Creek Farm Pumpkin Patch's grand opening in Milford. Stock up for fall with pumpkins, gourds, Italian corn, and sunflowers, and bring the kids for some fun with hay rides, games, face paintings, and a corn maze. While they play, listen to some relaxing live music while enjoying delicious barbecue from Woodbee's Catering, and wash it down with some cold beer from Artesia Brewing. Look for signs off of Route 1 south of Milford. And this is a big one. We know October 7th and 8th is the 44th Annual Harvest Day Festival in Watseka. This is a fall fundraiser to help raise proceeds to support the Iroquois County Historical Society. It opens with a fish fry on Friday, and the next day is grand opening ceremony by the American Legion. This wonderful event offers over 50 craft vendors, a kids zone, Victorian room bake sale, which is my favorite, car show, tractor show, and let's not forget the great food. Indulge in walking tacos, bratwurst, sloppy joes, ham and beans, ice cream with cobbler, caramel corn, taffy apples, and more. Enjoy the sights and get your Christmas shopping done early. Make plans to bring out the whole family to experience these wonderful fall events right here in Iroquois County. Are there any questions? For more information on these topics I've discussed, please call our office at 815-432-0072. Thank you.
Normally, the emergency management agency report is presented to the policy procedure committee, but Scott Anderson was out of town and he was very interested in giving the report this morning. So Scott, if you come forward and do that now, we appreciate it.
Morning, everybody. It's been a very, very busy first month in my office. And I put together a written report. Everybody has copies. I delivered them this morning. You also have a copy of my new business card with my county-issued cell phone number. Reach out to me at any time. My email address is on there. If anybody ever has any questions, concerns, feel free. Looking forward to giving reports every month. I'll put them together in a written form. I've had a request to make them electronic as well. So either way, everybody should be able to get a written copy because I am a firm believer in accountability and transparency in my department. It's one of those things that I feel that the taxpayers deserve. They're the ones that are ultimately paying my salary. I want them to know what I'm doing. Since I have given you a full written copy, I'm not going to go ahead and read all 3 pages. I'm going to touch on some of the bigger ones. The only incident that I really had over the month, other than the flooding, which was last month, was the heat issue that we had. I went through our list of cooling centers that we have, updated them by making phone calls to everybody, posted that on the Facebook page and along with the county webpage so people are aware. I'm not aware of anybody that took advantage of those. But the list has been updated. We'll utilize those as well for when it comes to warming centers if need be in the winter. But that list is now updated and current, and I'll continue to add to that. One of the big key topics that's been discussed, and one of the main things that I want to address, is the hazard mitigation plan for the county that expired back in 2015. The ball is rolling again. I did a lot of research and planning on that. I started studying hard on what it was going to take. Made numerous phone calls to the IEMA coordinator for the mitigation program down in Springfield. Then I learned that we actually have a grant that's already in place that was approved back in 2021 and is ready to go, that will pay for it in its completion. The FEMA portion is paid, the state is paid, the county will not be responsible for paying any of that because it will be taken care of based on the grant. After I found out about that, I immediately wrote a letter of proposal to be sent out so we can have bid process started. That was published on county webpage on August 18th. The bids will close on the 20th. We've already received a packet. I anticipate a couple more to come in, but as soon as that takes place, we'll go ahead and open them, and I'll make a recommendation to the committee meeting at that time that will be forwarded on to the full county board, and we can get moving on this. It's going to be a lengthy process. We're going to have to start from scratch. It could take anywhere from a year to 18 months. It also depends on how long FEMA takes to get the approval done. But once the approval is done, once the plan is complete, which I have all faith in that we're going to be able to do that, I have a lot of the agencies that we'll be working with already reaching out to me. Fire chiefs, police departments, anybody that's going to be involved are already extending, hey, we're here to work with you on this, and I'm looking forward to that. So we'll start scheduling meetings hopefully before the end of this month, if not the beginning of October. We'll start getting some of these entities in place and start getting this process going. So I've also been told by a couple people that please don't plan these meetings during hunting season. You won't have anybody appear. So I know that that's coming up pretty close. I've also been tasked by County Board Chairman John Scher to put together a flood mitigation plan for the county. I started that process while I was in Springfield at the IEMA conference by starting to make some connections with different entities down there. Army Corps was one of them, University of Illinois was another, DNR was another, so I can start at least start some discussions to see what we can do. As a resident here in Watseka, obviously flooding is right there in the forefront of what I'm interested in fixing if it's possible. But we at least need to get someplace started with that and to get some people sitting around a round table, have some discussions. Moving forward, hopefully we can be able to get a grant that will be put in place so we can have a separate flood mitigation plan that will encompass the entire county. Speaking about grants, again, skipping ahead of my plan, I'm not going to cover everything, but I just completed the annual emergency management performance grant, which basically funds the majority of my department. It was filed last Thursday. It was approved as of yesterday. So now we wait to see what exactly they're going to give us in regards to monies, but that has been taking place. Took part in a lot of training. You'll see it on the list. That is continuing. Looking forward between now and the end of the year on completing all the necessary classes for the certificate. That's a requirement of my job. Within 2 years, I'll have to get it done within 6 months and work forward on that. The local emergency planning committee, the LEPC, it hasn't met in 2 years. It was shelved because of COVID, but then it hasn't met since August, from what I can see, August 2021. It was published on the county website. First meeting in a while is actually tomorrow in the LEPC at 2 o'clock. Everybody is welcome. Everybody is encouraged. The public is encouraged. So hopefully we'll get some people to show up. I already know that we're going to have a few that will be attending then, and we'll move forward with that. I'd like to utilize that and get them to be a little bit more involved and to assist me in what I have to do. It's one-man band. It's kind of difficult to get everything going, but the more people I can work with me, it makes it easier. So appreciate your time. Thank you. Look forward to making these presentations monthly, and we'll go from there. Thank you, Chairman.
Do we have any other outside organization reports this morning? None, we'll move on to the committee report. I got a whole bunch of stuff to cover this morning, so I hope I don't fall over before. We'll begin with policy and procedure. Members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred policy and procedure would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on August 31, 2023 at 9 a.m. Members present were Scher, Ducat, Barons, Awful, and Whitlow. Michael McTaggart was absent. Also present, County Clerk Brian Suber and Supervisor of Assessments Mia McCammon. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Paul Ducat and seconded by Jed Whitlow to approve the agenda. That motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Committee chairs gave their monthly reports. Management Chairman Barons reported the committee will request bids for fertilizer, receive their normal monthly reports, and receive updates on the morgue. A bid packet has been created for the Grant Street Drainage Project. The committee will be reviewing the bid packet and taking action on putting the project out for bid. ARPA Chairman Ducat reported application funding is nearing the end, and denial letters were mailed last month informing applicants of the lack of funding. Health Chairman Awful reported the Health Committee will hear their standard reports. Tax Planning and Zoning Chairman Ducat reported Supervisor of Assessments Mia McCammon is looking into hiring a consultant for the office. Judicial Chairman Whitlow reported he spoke with Sheriff Clint Perzee regarding his needs for more space. Whitlow also reported the new hires in the Sheriff's Department are doing well. Highway Chairman Alt reported the committee will review and approve claims. Also, there's a job posting for a maintenance worker. County Board Chairman Scher began discussion on the Supervisor of Assessment position now occupied by Mia McCammon. McCammon was hired August 1 with a 60-day appointment per the Illinois statute. On August 9, McCammon passed the Supervisor of Assessment examination. Per her employment contract, McCammon is now eligible for a 4-year appointment and a salary increase. It was moved by Duquette and seconded by Awful to appoint Mia McCammon as Supervisor of Assessments for a 4-year term. A roll call vote was taken. That motion carried. It was moved by Duquette and seconded by Widow to increase Supervisor of Assessments Mia McCammon's annual rate of pay by $2,500 due to her passing the Supervisor of Assessment examination. A roll call vote was taken. That motion carried. Sure informed the committee that McCammon was contacted by Gary Twist with Property Evaluation and Tax Advisors, LLC, in regards to doing consulting work for the assessment office. Copies of Mr. Twist's resume and experience were provided. McCammon believes a majority of his work could be done via Zoom. It was also noted that the assessment office may not need to utilize all of Mr. Twist's services. It was moved by Behrens and seconded by Awful to authorize Supervisor of Assessments Mia McCammon to move forward with hiring a consultant, if necessary, pending the determination of costs and what is needed. A roll call vote was taken. That motion carried. The committee continued their review of the county code book. Revisions are as follows. Section 2-60, meeting dates. Change the regular meeting of the county board to be held on the second Monday in June to second Tuesday in June. Section 2-63, time of meetings. Change county board meeting time from 9:05 a.m. to 9 a.m. Section 2-66, claims. Claims are reviewed and recommended for approval by the appropriate standing committees. Section 2-117, Child Advocacy Advisory Board. This matter will be looked into further. Section 2-252, gift from prohibited sources. This section will need to be verified against the state statute. Section 2-253, exceptions. Change the dollar amount from $75 per person to $100 per person. This section will also need to be verified against the state statute. Section 2-316, coroner schedule of fees. Currently states the coroner's schedule of fees is on file in the county clerk's office. However, any new or changed fees are not currently on file in the county clerk's office as stated. Section 4-53, application. In regards to an application for a county alcoholic liquor license, a $1,000 surety bond is required. The committee questioned whether $1,000 is sufficient. This will need to be verified against the state statute. Section 4-81, operating hours and special license for extended hours. This has to do with the sale of liquor before noon on Sundays. The new section will need to be inserted with the ordinance that was passed to allow for the special sale of liquor before noon on Sundays. Correspondence was distributed to the committee. Appointments will be made at the county board meeting. There were no claims submitted for approval. During old business, Alt inquired on advertising for the county engineer position. There was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Awful and seconded by Behrens to adjourn at 10:30 a.m. That motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, signed by all members present, and I move for the adoption of the report. Do we have a second? Mr. Behrens, are there any questions or comments regarding the report on policy and procedure? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crow. Yes. Ducat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes. McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Benz.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next we'll move.
Are you gonna have me give Mia her oath? Are you gonna have Mia give me Mia her oath? They're here to see her give her oath.
Okay, if you'd like to do that now.
Sure. Okay, so with the approval of the PMP committee, you guys appointed Mia to her 4-year term. So I'm going to give her her oath of office right now. So Mia, you can please raise your right hand. I, Mia McCammon, having been appointed to the office of Supervisor of Assessments
having been appointed to the office of Supervisor of Assessments
in the County of Iroquois,
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
the
duties of the office of Supervisor of Assessments
the duties of the office of the Supervisor of Assessments
to the best of my ability
for
a period of 4 years.
to a period of 4 years.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good.
All right, thank you. I just want to thank the county board for their trust and confidence in appointing me to this position. I look forward to working with each of you, being as transparent as possible to serve as your supervisor of assessments, and I welcome any questions you have or concerns, and my door's always open. So thank you. Thank you, John.
Congratulations. Okay, now we move along to negotiations. Members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred negotiations would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on August 14 at 2:03 p.m. Members present were Scher, Alt, Bowers, and Geiger. Paul Duquette was absent. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines, County Engineer Greg Perkinson, County Clerk Brian Suber, County Board Labor Legal Representative Dave Hibben via Zoom, AFSME members, and AFSME Legal Representative Natalie Nagel. Meeting was called to order. The committee met to discuss ongoing negotiation activities. The meeting adjourned at 4:16 p.m., all of which is respectfully submitted. Next one, members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred negotiations would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on August 15, 2023 at 9:39 a.m. Members present were Scher, Alt, Geiger, Duquette, and Bowers. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, 911 ETSB Director Eric Raymond, Board Labor Legal Representative Dave Hibben, FOP members and FOP Legal Representative Jeff Burke. The meeting was called to order. The committee met to discuss ongoing negotiation activities. The meeting adjourned at 12:17 p.m., all of which is respectfully submitted. Next one, the committee. Members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred negotiations would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on August 25, 2023 at 10:32 a.m. Members present were Scher, Alt, Geiger, Duquette, and Bowers. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, 911 ETSB Director Eric Raymond, Board Labor Legal Representative Dave Hibben, FOP members, and FOP Legal Representative Jeff Burke. The committee met to discuss ongoing negotiation activities. A tentative agreement was reached, which will be presented to the Telecommunicator Union membership for ratification before it is presented to the county board for approval. The meeting adjourned
at 11:47 a.m., all of which is respectfully submitted. And the last negotiations, your members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred negotiations, would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on August 28, 2023 at 1 p.m. Members present were Scher, Alt, Duquette, and Geiger. Paul Bowers was absent. Also present, Finance Manager Joe Johnson, Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines, County Engineer Greg Perkinson, County Clerk Brian Suver, County Board Labor Legal Representative Dave Hibben via Zoom, AFSCME members, and AFSCME Legal Representative Natalie Nagel. The meeting was called to order. Committee was met to discuss ongoing negotiation activities. Tentative agreement was reached, which will be presented to the AFSCME union membership for ratification before it is presented to the county board for approval. Meeting adjourned at 2:37 p.m., all of which is respectfully submitted. Okay. As I mentioned in the report on the meeting from August 25th, we reached a tentative agreement with the Telecommunicators Union. It's my understanding, according to an email that we received from their union representative, Jeff Burke, the union ratified that agreement last Thursday. So what I have is not a clean copy of the agreement. It's the old agreement with all the changes marked in it, and it's the only copy that I have, so I can tell you what it has. If you want to look at it, you're welcome to do that as well. But what I'm suggesting is that we approve this morning. The telecommunicators are entitled to back pay all the way dating back to last December. The AFSCME agreement, which we reached, that agreement will not go into effect until this December. So in order to get the people their back pay and so forth, I think it would make sense to do that. So what I'm asking for is a motion to approve this agreement pending receipt of a clean copy of the contract from the union with all of the signatures on it from the union representative and all the appropriate union members. At which time then I will sign it and Brian will sign it and it'll become official.
Thank you.
So.
Who was the second? William, thank you.
So before we vote on that, does anybody have any questions about the agreement? Scott?
Can you just give a brief overview, like the term, the percentage increase, whatever?
The biggest, I'll start in with the changes that were made with the biggest change insofar as the first part of it was with new hires. It allows us to hire someone, let's say somebody from another county has got 10 years of experience as a telecommunicator, they'd like to come to work here. Instead of beginning at the base salary, they actually can get some credit for that and they would start at a salary that's the same base pay as somebody with that experience. What that does is it opens up the opportunity for us to acquire people that have better quality or better competency in that field, and that's something that Mr. Raymond has been wanting to get done for quite some time. So that is part of the agreement. Another part of the agreement that was changed had to do with holidays. They wanted the Juneteenth holiday included. There was no real problem with that because the state's already passed the statute saying all the employees get that anyway. So that's become a part of the contract. The other part that's significant has to do with the wages. The wage increases that they've agreed to are exactly the same as the wage increases that we have approved already for the sheriff's deputies and also the sheriff's correctional officers, which is a 4% increase the first year, 3.25% the second year, and 3% the third year, final year of the contract. So those are basically what the changes are. There are some things that we had wanted to get in the contract, such as being able to hire part-time people, but the union did not want to have that done, so that's not a part of this contract.
But the date of the contract started back last December.
That's correct. December 1st of 2022 is, November 30th of 2022 is when the prior contract expired, so. We had tried last year to get these negotiations going and get them completed, but through a series of, I don't know what, it just didn't happen, so.
2 years now, we've got negotiations.
Yes. Anybody else? Mrs. Kroll?
It was discussed at finance the other day, the amount, the total amount of the back pay. I can't recall that. Do either you or Mr. McTaggart remember that?
I mean, I was doing rough math. So
yeah,
it's not official, but it was,
I
believe, at maximum, it looked like about 20,000 was my rough math, and I think it will be less than that.
Rough math.
On the back, on the back day.
I can tell you this, that when we were in our negotiations process, we did consult frequently with Joe Johnson on that matter to try and ascertain that we would have enough financially to accommodate the wage increases that are being talked about, so. I don't think we would have agreed to it had that not been the case, at least I hope not. So, does anyone else have any questions? Okay, the motion is to ratify and approve this contract pending receipt of a clean copy from the union that's signed by the union representatives, in which time we will sign it and it will become official and so forth.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Crowe.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes. McGinnis.
Yes.
Taggart.
Yes.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams. Duval.
Yes.
Alt. No. Barons.
Yes.
Dents.
Yes.
And, sorry, Bowers.
Yes.
Okay. We'll go on with the management committee report. Mr. Barron.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred management services would beg leave to submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 6, 2023 at 1:07 p.m. Members present were Barons, Bowers, Bentz, Crowe, and Zumwalt. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scher, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake, Coroner Bill Cheatham, Carl Grodovich with WGFA, and Roger Bard. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Donna Crone, seconded by John Zumwalt to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. During public comments, Roger Bard addressed the committee regarding the Grant Street drainage project. Bard noted Mayor John Allhands came to the management committee 4 years ago and presented this drainage issue. More recently, the county was approached again about the drainage issue, and the city of Watseka would be willing to pay half the cost of the project. Bard feels there is a sense of entitlement with Mayor Allhands. When the county began taking bids for the project, the city council hadn't voted yet. Bard also questioned where the funds for the project would be coming from. As of the last city council meeting Bard attended, the matter still had not been voted on. Bard stated Mayor Allhands is using his position to drain his own backyard. The county board should not accept funds from Watseka government to move forward with the project. Bard suggested the county board remove the city of Watseka from the project and look for other sources of funding. Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake report included the following. Inspections include the backflow preventers in the Administrative Center, courthouse, and jail. The compressor went out in the mini-split unit 911 server room on Friday. A new unit was installed on Monday. Gas regulator for the hot water heater in the Administrative Center went out and has been replaced. Drake assisted the assessment office with painting and moving office furniture. New paper towel dispensers have been installed in the restrooms. Drake continues to mow weekly at the Animal Control Building. Shelves were built for Juvenile Justice Department in the courthouse. Concrete work on the stairways of the courthouse will be done.
Drake is having many tons of river stone delivered to the courthouse and jail. This will be spread between both buildings. Drake will begin purchasing pallets of salt. The deep clean of the jail by ServPro seemed to go well. Sheriff Clint Brzee will be able to provide more information. The exterior painting of the Administrator Center will begin at the end of September or beginning of October. The committee reviewed the bid packet for the Grant Street drainage project. Zumwalt noted the project is a maintenance project that will solve multiple drainage issues. To move forward, we have to have a good outlet, and the city of Watseka is allowing us to hook onto the Grant Street tile. Also, we are responsible for mowing the property in question, and oftentimes the area has been mowed around due to standing water. In addition, standing water poses a health hazard due to mosquitoes. Management Chairman Barron suggested budgeting the project as a capital expense for next year's budget. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Bowers to put the Grant Street project out for bid. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Additional discussion was held regarding conversations held with the city of Watseka. On August 18th, County Board Chairman John Zumwalt attended a city council meeting, and the general consensus was to put the project out for bid. Zumwalt has been working with Robinson Engineering and has been provided with drawings for the property. The city of Watseka has paid for these drawings. Zumwalt informed the committee he would like to see the next county farm project be reshaping and reseeding the waterway. This would need to be put out for bid. Also, the fertilizer will need to be put out for bid. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Crow to request bids for fertilizer. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Committee continued discussions on placement of the morgue. Committee members looked at office space within the administrative center. Cons of the space would be loss of revenue and terminating the lease. Pros of the space would be already owning the space. Crow said she would like to see the committee and board to seriously pursue this option. Sure added he may be able to work with the tenant about terminating their lease for that particular office space, as they have 2 offices in the building. Barron's added issues that may occur, such as odor that could spread throughout the building, and how comfortable will the staff be with morgue in the same building. Crow listed needs for the space, such as floor drains, ventilation, garage doors, and double doors in the hallway. Sure stated the option still remains at the maintenance shed. Coroner Bill Cheatham asked the committee to keep in mind that people that come to see their deceased family and would like to ensure the safety of the building. It was noted that Iroquois Memorial Hospital has also offered space for the morgue. However, that is a rental agreement, not a long-term solution. Crow, Barron's, and Drake will work together to get prices on the items needed for the space in the administrative center. Zumwalt will reach out to Morton Buildings, and Sure will reach out to Clary Buildings for options on having the morgue at the maintenance shed. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Mitchell Bentz and seconded by Bowers to pay claims subject to county board approval. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There was no old business and there was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Zumwalt, seconded by Bowers to adjourn at 2:37 p.m. Motion carried, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
So, there's a motion on the floor to approve the management committee report. Do we have a second? Are there any questions or comments on the report? Okay.
That's not the budget right now. I mean, this drainage thing.
Correct.
Just to be clear. And the other thing was, on this IMH asked, or saying they would rent us space. Do we have any clue how much that would cost? Because I guess maybe in a long-term agreement would be a hell of a lot cheaper than any of these other things. I mean, if it's reasonable, I
don't think that's a short-term solution on their building, because it'd be minimum if they would build a rehab center, therapy center. Right now, the agreements, though, I think I like everybody here, there's no fees or rental agreement. Right now, the paper I saw was just an agreement with no money changing currently. So this word's kind of awkward to hear about saying that however there's a rental agreement and no longer.
built the house. Put a little better place on it. We haven't done that yet.
Just curious.
Do you have any other comment, Mr. Geiger?
That was it, about clarification on my.
Mr. Watts, you had a comment?
Yes, our management committee had a roll call vote for this drainage project on Ocean Street. The report says, attended the city council meeting and the general consensus was to put the project out for bid, so did they nod their heads, did they raise their hands, did they take the vote, but
Mr. Zumwalt and Mr. Scher were at the meeting.
They didn't take a formal vote, if that's part of your question.
yes.
Was,
So they vocalized support for it. So.
yes, they did. That was very, there was one city council member that was very adamantly opposed to the whole project. Because the others, maybe with one other exception, they were all very much in favor of it. However, I think the biggest factor involved with the whole thing is that nobody has any idea for sure what the actual cost will be. And that's why the suggestion was to just put it out for bid so that we could at least get some understanding of what's involved money-wise before anything is decided.
So by putting it out for bid, we're not necessarily moving forward with it, we're getting a budget. Since it's not gonna be till next year anyway, because there is no money at this point, and no time to do it this year.
To clarify, I specifically asked the question in the the discussion that the committee had about the drainage project, and I've heard it said this morning, and I see it's in the minutes, it's not a 50-50 or go-have situation. The majority of the cost would be on the county, and the city did approach the county 4 years ago and again recently. So I spoke on the north issue. I spoke with, I heard from Mr. Drake today, and he is gathering information about the work that would need to be done down the hallway to facilitate a more being in this building. But there's no further information available at this time.
Your comment about the majority of the cost being on the county for the Grand Street project, Mr. Stroh, that's your opinion, there's nothing been decided on that.
It was discussed in the committee, it's not in the minutes, and I specifically asked if it was a perhaps 50-50 arrangement.
Nobody has decided that yet.
I was told no in the meeting, you were there.
That, I'll say for the third time, that decision was not been made. Anyone else have any questions or comments about the land committee report?
Chairman, I had one about, did we hear anything back about terminating the lease out of this area down there?
Have I heard anything back?
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to the chairman about that yet. I'll be in Champaign on Thursday morning for a meeting down there. Plan to talk about it at that time. Okay?
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Ducat?
Yes.
Geiger?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Taggart?
Yes.
Awful? Sure?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Spence?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crowe?
Yes.
Carried.
Okay, ARPA committee, Mr. Dugas.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, the committee to whom was referred, American Rescue Plan Act, would beg to leave submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 5th, 2023 at 10:03 a.m. Members present were Ducat, Crowe, Awful, and Scher. Charlie Alt was absent. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Sheriff Clint Frazee, ETS Director Eric Raymond, Roger Heckey with Ridgeland Township, and Audra Schomburg with Affordable Arts. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by John Scher and seconded by Donna Crowe to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote.
There were no public comments. The committee continued their review of the ARPA application as follows. Application number 34, Bread Basket Food Pantry. Due to the Bread Basket Food Pantry closure, an email was sent requesting a representative attend today's ARPA meeting to discuss plans for the freezers purchased with ARPA funds. A representative was not in attendance and did not reply to the email sent to them. The committee believes other food pantries could benefit from the freezers, and State's Attorney Jim Devine will be contacted to see what action can be taken, if any. Application number 44, Sheldon Community EMS. An email was sent requesting a representative be present at today's meeting. ETS Director Eric Raymond stated he believes they were planning to withdraw their application. The committee agreed to send Sheldon County EMS a denial letter due to lack of ARPA funding. Application number 64, Feeding Time Foods. An email was sent requesting a representative be present at today's meeting. A representative was not in attendance and did not reply to the email sent to them. The committee agreed to send Feeding Time Foods a denial letter to lack of ARPA funding. Application number 49, Affordable Arts. The committee reviewed the quotes provided for concrete trucking and tuck pointing. The low bidders for both combined were $28,900. It was moved by Crow and seconded by Awful to adopt the resolution awarding $28,000 to Affordable Arts. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Application number 113, Ridgeland Township. Roger Heckey with Ridgeland Township provided the committee with 2 bids for the construction of a new building. The bids, not including concrete, total $106,169 and $133,009. Heckey stated Ridgeland Township would be able to fund the concrete portion of the project. It was moved by Duquette and seconded by Sure to adopt the resolution awarding $106,169 to Ridgeland Township. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Application number 92, the Iroquois County Morgue. Crow recalls hearing or reading about possible space in the administrative building and would like to entertain the idea of having the morgue on the premises. Sure said there were comments at the special county board meeting regarding the need for more office space and places within the building not to be utilized. Currently, Champaign County Regional Planning Commission rents the office space at $15,466 per year for 2 offices. The committee will view the office space following the meeting. A resolution for hazard pay for Iroquois County's employees was provided for the committee. Per the committee's request, Johnson compiled a list of all the employees, including the Health Board, ETSB, Veterans Assistants, elected and appointed positions. If included in the resolution, the total payout would be $135,250. The original spreadsheet sent in May did not include these positions and had a total payout of $76,000. It was moved by Sure and seconded by Crow to adopt the resolution authorizing expenditure from FY 2023 American Rescue Plan Fund to establish premium pay for the Iroquois County employees. Duquette offered further discussion on the matter. ETSB Director Eric Raymond distributed copies of his department schedule from November 2022, the 2022 ETSB report, and the current 2023 ETSB report. Raymond explained his scheduling process and the long hours he and his staff have endured over the past several years due to being understaffed. Raymond asked the committee to reconsider their motion and include ETSB in the payout for hazard pay. Sure recommended Raymond approach his board and request hazard pay. A roll call vote was taken. Crow aye, Awful nay, Crow aye, or Sure aye, Duquette aye, motion carried. There were no old business during the new business. Sheriff Clint Brzee gave the committee an update on the body scanner in the jail, stating it is installed and operational. Employees have completed their training on the equipment. Also, the new CAD system and reporting writing system is going well. Crow inquired on additional space the Sheriff's Department is needing. Brzee answered the only space he may need is storage for seasonal items. There was no further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Crow and seconded by Awful to adjourn at 11:10 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
I have a motion to approve the ARPA committee report. Do we have a second? Are there any questions or comments regarding the ARPA committee report?
The health board. Why is the health board getting premium, right?
They're not.
Per the county's request of all employees, including the health board, EPSC, veteran assistants, elected employee positions, if they include resolution 12-35. We're not approving that one? Okay.
We approved
76. Okay. I'm just making sure because after they allowed the big overtime mess up, yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments regarding the ARPA committee report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes. McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
No.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
No.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Spence.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
And Ducat.
Yes. Let me read it.
Carried.
You want me to read it? All right, I guess sit down. I'll read it up for what I got. Thank you, Barb. Barb has a, can't talk, she's got laryngitis, so may I go ahead and read the health?
Okay. Health committee. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, your committee to whom we refer to health would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 5th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Members present were Awful, Ducat, Geiger, Hughes, and Whitlow. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scher, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, IC, PhD, Administrator Eric Cece, Director of Senior Services Bethany DeWitt, and Dr. Danielle Malazzo and Ross Wilkin with the Animal Medical Center of Gilman. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Geiger to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Geiger to pay the claims, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. Finance Manager Jill Johnson reported the registration deposit for August was $4,670. There are 10 cases currently open with 1 cat and 5 dogs waiting for placement. The animal control officers closed 27 cases in August. The closed cases consisted of 2 dogs running loose, 3 stray cats, 11 bite reports, 4 well checks, 5 bats tested negative for rabies, 1 bat tested positive for rabies, 1 cat stuck in a wall, and 2 accident pickups. Johnson introduced Dr. Malazzo with Animal Medical Center of Gilman to the committee. Dr. Malazzo has been assisting with some of the animal control cases. Johnson sent Dr. Malazzo a list of administrative duties for the position. Dr. Malazzo addressed the committee regarding these duties and if the position needs to be held by a veterinarian. She believes it would be an associate veterinarian as well as a support staff in her office with the potential to hire someone in the animal control position. Johnson gave a brief explanation on how the animal control building is currently being utilized. Dr. Malazzo also suggested setting up a weekly schedule for her to perform veterinarian duties on the animals at the building. County Board John Sherman spoke on behalf of the Animal Control and requested Dr. Malazzo set up a meeting to speak with him, as well as the Health Committee does not have the authority to make these decisions. IC PhD Administrator Eric Cece reported 1 bat tested positive for rabies in Iroquois County. The resident that was exposed to the bat is undergoing treatment. Childhood vaccine numbers are increasing due to school starting. Also with school starting, vision and hearing screenings have resumed. COVID-19 cases are increasing and there were 2 outbreaks in long-term care facilities. There were 85 confirmed COVID-19 cases in August. CC also introduced Director of Senior Services Bethany DeWitt to the committee. DeWitt gave a presentation on the community care program that the health department offers. The community care program is a service for everyone in Iroquois County. If someone is going from the hospital or their home to a nursing home, the staff must do a pre-screen to make sure the individual has a physical need to be at the nursing home and they are not being forced to do so. To be eligible, you must be age 60 or older, live in Iroquois County, determined physically in need of service, and meet assessed requirements. Services provided for an automated medicine dispenser, life alert button, and a home care aide. Home care aide assists with light housekeeping, personal care tasks, preparing meals, and errands. There was no old business, there was no new business. As there was further no business to come before the committee, it was moved by Ducat and seconded by Whitlow to adjourn at 9:23 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, which is all respectfully submitted, and I ask for its adoption.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the Health Committee report, seconded by Mr. Goffel. Do we have questions or comments on the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Hughes. McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Watts. Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Benz.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
And Geiger.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, tax planning and zoning, Mr. Ducat.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, the committee to whom it is referred, tax zoning would beg to leave the submit following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 5th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. Members present were Ducat, Awful, Geiger, Hughes, and Whitlow. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scher, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Clerk Brian Suber, Treasurer Kurt Albers, Supervisor of Assessment Mia McCammon, Planning and Zoning Administrator Julie Fowler, ICPHD Administrator Eric Cece, and County Board Member Donna Crow. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Awful and seconded by Geiger to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. A discrepancy was noted on the claims listing submitted by Planning and Zoning Administrator Julie Fowler and the actual claim submitted for payment to Jeff Meyer. Fowler stated she would make the necessary corrections. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Awful to pay the claims. Subject to county board approval, a roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. The department heads gave their monthly reports. County Clerk Brian Suber reported Chief Deputy Cheryl Gillespie's last day is today. A new hire is starting tomorrow, and another new hire is anticipated to start at the end of September or the beginning of October. Circulation begins today for the 2024 primary. Packets are available in the County Clerk's office for County Board, Precinct Committee in persons, and county offices such as Circuit Clerk, State's Attorney, and Coroner. There will be a possible school consolidation question on the ballot for St. Anne Grade School and High School. This will affect approximately 1,000 voters in Iroquois County. Treasurer Kurt Albers reported the second installment for the property taxes is due September 18th. DebNet will be coming in to assist with the first tax distribution. Supervisor of Assessment Mia McCammon reported a new employee has been hired in the assessment office. McCammon gave township assessors a deadline to finish getting in their changes. A special meeting has been requested for September 28th to allow for Eagle View Technologies and Vanguard to give presentations to the committee. Eagle View will present on services they offer for aerial pictures, and Vanguard will present on the camera system they offer. Lastly, McCammon is in need of a board of review member. The individual does need to be a Democrat and will need to take the board of review class within 1 year. Planning and Zoning Administrator Julie Fowler presented her monthly report to the committee as follows. The building permits August 2023, agriculture 1, residential 6, wind towers 0. Building permits FY 2023, residential 89, agricultural 14, wind towers 0. Building inspections August 2023, 64. Zoning Board of Appeals August 29th for Matt Rudnick for a variance to build a garage in the floodplain. The track is located in Section 5, Belmont Township, 26 NR 12W of the 2nd PM. The permanent identification number is 26-05-300-018. The track is located at 1729 County Highway 43, Watseka, Illinois 60970. Feller also met with State's Attorney Jim Devine and received his approval for the text amendment to change special use to conditional use in the wind and solar ordinances. It was moved by Geiger and seconded by Awful to amend the wording from special use to conditional use on the wind and solar ordinance. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. The committee requested Feller research at what point during the building does an individual need to get a building permit. Feller continues to finalize the background check process for solicitor applications. Zoning Board of Appeals packets were sent to committee members informing them of Matt Rudnick's request to build a garage in a floodplain. It was moved by Geiger and seconded by Steve Hughes to approve a variance for Matt Rudnick to build a garage in a floodplain. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Suitor presented a parcel sold to the Village of Milford for $797. It was moved by Geiger and seconded by Awful to approve the resolution authorizing the sale of the property to the Village of Milford. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There was no old business, there is no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Awful and seconded by Hughes to adjourn at 9:49 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which was respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
Motion on the floor to approve the tax planning and zoning committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Rowlands. Are there any questions or comments on the report? Mr. Crowe?
What time is the meeting on the 28th?
I believe it's at 11 o'clock. That same morning as the policy and procedure committee meeting at 9 o'clock. Any other questions or comments? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart. Yes. Awful. Sure.
Yes.
Watts. Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt. Barron.
Yes.
Dennis.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe. Yes. Dukenyak.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
You've been approved, and you go ahead and you're good now. But thank you so much for coming.
Okay, Judicial and Public Safety Committee. Mr. Whitlow.
Mr. Chairman, members of the County Board, your committee to whom is referred, Judicial and Public Safety, would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the courthouse on September 6, 2023 at 3 p.m. Members present were County Board Chairman John Schuer, Mitchell Bentz, and Raymond Williams. Jed Whitlow, Steve Hughes, and Scott Watts were absent. Also present, Judge Mike Sable, as State's Attorney Jim Devine, and Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Raymond Williams and seconded by Mitchell Bentz to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. The Probation and Court Services Activity Report for August was reviewed. Judge Mike Sable reported on the public defenders and the Pretrial Fairness Act, stating that the act is going to involve a considerable increase of work for the public defenders. The state has allocated additional funds for the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has allocated funds for each county within the circuit. Iroquois County will be receiving $83,873 for their public defenders. The funds cannot be used to replace county funds or to earmark for the salary of the public defenders. Sable explained the funds will provide the public defenders with additional salary and office space, which will be located in the courthouse. Also, the funding is expected not only for this year, but subsequent years as well. Sable does not believe the Iroquois County budget will need to be revised due to the allocated funds. His understanding is that the public defenders will receive the additional salary directly from the state. State's Attorney Jim Devine reported there were 10 cases today for grand jury, with 9 cases being drug-related. In addition, the double murder indictment was today. Devine says he doesn't anticipate the budget being impacted too much in regard to the case. Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines distributed her monthly report for August to the committee for their review. A total of $36,676.35 was received in fines and fees, and $4,704.91 was received from Paycourt. The ETSB monthly report for August was reviewed. County Board John Schuer noticed ETS Director Eric Raymond's hours on the radio are minimal for the month, and it is important for him to keep up with the radio to be able to train his staff. Also, during negotiations, there was talk about hiring part-time employees in the 911 center, but it was voted down. There was no old business. During new business, Sable reported the hiring of Susan Windence and Kevin Kokenauer as bailiffs. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Williams, seconded by Bentz to pay the judicial and public safety claims, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Williams, seconded by Bentz to adjourn the meeting at 3:17 p.m. Motion carried by a voice vote. All of which is respectfully submitted would move for its adoption.
A motion on the floor to approve the judicial and public safety committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Williams.
Is this money coming from the state? Like what they usually do, where they give us money and then they take away other money?
I wonder about that, but I just don't know enough about it.
That's what they typically do.
Something to keep an eye on. Mr. Rainer.
There was a comment, excuse me, there was a comment specifically made towards the amount of hours that I am working on the radio. I think it's incredibly important to remind the county board that there's several projects that have been going over across the year, including a new dispatch system, which also includes a new jail system and other products. We've also replaced our phone system, and that comes with quite a bit of attention to detail. So while my hours have been at a minimum, there's a reason for it.
It wasn't meant as a pleasure. Any other questions or comments? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Ms. Taggart?
Yes.
Awful?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Watts? Whitlow?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt? Barron?
Yes.
Bentz?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crowe?
Yes.
Dutat?
Yes.
Geiger?
Yes.
Hughes? And McGinnis? Chad?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Finance and IT Committee, Mr. McTaggart.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred Finance IT would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 7th at 9:12 a.m. Members present were McTaggart, Barons, Alt, Bowers, Geiger, and McGinnis. Watts was absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Sheriff Clint Brzee, County Clerk Suver, ETS Director Raymond, Supervisor of Assessments McCammon, County Board Member Donna Crowe, Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance, Susie Werner with Homestar Insurance, Hope Wheeler with Clifton Marks & Allen, and Carl Gerdovich of WGFA Radio. Meeting was called to order. It was moved by Geiger and seconded by Bowers to approve the agenda. The motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Munyon with Compass Insurance reported on insurance changes to the Old Courthouse Museum, updating the Old Courthouse Museum to actual cash value and changing that value to $4 million would have a return of premium on the whole year of $11,278. It was moved by Barons and seconded by Bowers to adjust the actual cash value of the Old Courthouse Museum to $4 million with no contents. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Susie Werner with Homestar Insurance reported the Blue Cross Blue Shield has not provided renewal rates yet for group insurance. Werner will be requesting rate relief again this year. The current renewal trend is 14%, and Werner would like to get the renewal down to 7%. The county automatically receives a 3% reduction due to having additional coverages. Delta Dental reported a 3% increase. Aflac is canceling their group policies, and letters will be mailed to policyholders. Another option similar to Aflac is available. Werner will schedule open enrollment meetings with the finance office next month. Hope Wheeler with Clifton Larson Allen presented the fiscal year 22 audit. Wheeler reviewed the auditor's opinion section and also audit findings. Audit findings include assisting in preparing financial statements, journal entry adjustments, and the schedule of expenditures for federal awards. There were several errors on the CFO related
CFO related to federal programs administered by the Health Department. Overall, a clean opinion was given by Clifton Larson Allen. Items recommended by Clifton Larson Allen include the finance manager continuing the training classes to assist with financial statements, to obtain quotes from contractors for items under $10,000, and bids from contractors over $25,000 should be checked against the suspended or debarred list. In addition, the single audit found overtime charged to sick and vacation days for contact tracing, and a grant was charged for large supplemental overtime payment. Wheeler explained the overtime payment was approved, but good supporting documentation was not provided. Finance IT Chairman McTaggart discussed the Health Department and the level of authority the County Board has over them. The Health Department reports to the Board of Health, and all items are approved through their board. Payroll and other administrative duties are handled on a county level through the Finance Office. McTaggart previously mentioned the Health Department paying their portion of the audit fees if there is a possibility of breaking down the hours spent on their items. Wheeler believes there is a reduction in fees. There will be a reduction of fees once CFA is over, and she has provided Johnson with the separation of the audit fees. There's also the option of charging ARPA funds for audit expenses. Finance Manager Jill Johnson reported Bernie McCarty with AreaWide is working with Rooter Technologies on backup internet options, and they will be at the October and November meetings. McCarty will also have an updated 5-year plan for the county. Department heads gave their monthly reports. They are as follows. County Clerk Suver reported a new employee was hired and resigned yesterday. Suver will continue her search for a new employee. Circulation. That's not funny, but it kind of is. Circulation for petitions has started. Packets are available at the county clerk office. Supervisor of Assessment, Mia McCammon, reported a new employee has been hired for the assessment office. McCammon has requested a special tax planning and zoning meeting on September 28th at 11 a.m. EagleView Technologies will give a presentation on the services they offer for aerial flyovers, and Vanguard will give a presentation on their CAMA system. McCammon would like to use ARPA funds for these items. McCammon is working on drafting a letter to townships that currently don't have assessors, and she is having to do the assessment work. She is unsure how this was handled in the past and may have to consult with the state's attorney before moving forward. There's a possibility of charging the townships for the work if they aren't going to hire someone. ETS Director Raymond reported the 911 center is in the process of going through a new CAD system. Raymond also reported another internet outage. The discussion on backup internet has been ongoing and needs to be handled. Sheriff Brzee reported the telephone upgrade for his department is complete. Deputy Reichenberger graduated from the academy on August 24th and is now on FTO with Lieutenant Mofield. The body scanner at the jail was installed and all staff trained as of August 22nd. There was $21,000 cost savings initially quoted by the manufacturer. The new Central Square CAD program is up and running as of September 6th. Deputy Schinke is in the police academy as of September 5th. Correctional Officer Medina will go to the Corrections Academy on September 17th. The X-ray scanner at the courthouse stopped working for after 25 years of service. A new scanner will need to be purchased as soon as possible to keep the courthouse protected. Brzee provided a quote for a new scanner from Romaine Industries at $27,750. A second quote was requested from Harris L3, but Brzee has not received a response. Brzee noted Romaine Industries provided us with the new body scanner. It was moved by McTaggart and seconded by Alt to purchase the Romaine Industries X-ray inspection system for the courthouse with the remaining ARPA funds and court security funds. A roll call vote was taken. The motion carried. Brzee also gave an update on the radios for his department. Motorola has decreased their price for the Starcom radios, and a 7 or 10-year lease is available. A digital radio system price is unknown at this time. Continued discussion was held on the fiscal year 24 budget. Finance Manager Johnson provided a preliminary budget spreadsheet showing a positive general fund balance of $10,000. ASME and FOP negotiations are complete. FOP wage tables were approved at 4% in year 1, 3.25% in year 2, and 3% in year 3. ASME employees earning a wage under $14 per hour will receive a 24% increase. $14.01 and above will receive a 12% increase. Those that have been employed for less than a year will receive a 4% wage increase. Non-ASME employees will follow the ASME wage table. ETS Director Eric Raymond presented his budget as follows. Transfer from City of Watseka is budgeted at $126,000. Transfer from 911 is budgeted at $242,905. A 5% increase has been applied to fire, ambulance, police, and Riverside. There is potential to hire an additional telecommunicator. Assistant department head has been removed from the ETSB budget. $150,000 is being requested from public safety funds for a radio console system. McTaggart began discussion on the balance in the public safety fund. The estimated current balance is $629,000 with approximately $135,000 expected to be deposited. McTaggart reviewed the items to be paid from the fund, such as telecommunicator back pay and vehicles for the Sheriff's Department. Persee has 2 vehicles available to him for this budget year, which would decrease his request for fiscal year 24. It was moved by McGinnis and seconded by McTaggart to authorize Sheriff Persee to purchase the 2 vehicles from Drowley and Watseka from the Public Safety Fund in fiscal year 23. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried, and Persee intends to trade in multiple vehicles when purchasing the new vehicles. Johnson will revise the Public Safety Fund request and request an up-to-date balance from the Treasurer's Office. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by McGinnis and seconded by Behrens to pay the claims, subject to County Board approval. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. During the old business, County Board Chairman John Schur reminded the committee of the electronic recycling event held this Saturday at the Riverside parking lot. Also, tentative agreements have been reached with the telecommunicators and ASME. Schur expects the contracts to be approved by the October board meeting. Lastly, the Watseka Area Chamber of Commerce has requested the use of the parking lot for the trunk or treat event on October 21st. It was moved by McGinnis and seconded by Geiger to allow the Watseka Area Chamber of Commerce to use the Administrative Center parking lot on October 21st for the trunk or treat event. Motion carried by a voice vote. There was no new business, and as there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by McGinnis and seconded by Behrens to adjourn at 11:32 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
Motion on the floor to approve the Finance IT Committee report. Is there a second? Good morning. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report?
I'll say one thing. The health department stuff, I think the people on the Finance Committee understand what I'm talking about there, but when we receive the audit each year, and so we just had the auditors come and give us the report from fiscal year 22, which ended back on November 30th. The county is paying for the audit to be done, which includes the health department and the transportation department and ARPA and all these different things. And we're receiving the report back talking about the findings that they have. So there was some findings on how the grant accounting was being done in the health department. And my comment was in the report there was referring to, we're receiving this information about, hey, there needs to be better procedures in place in how the finances are being handled in the health department. And my comment that day was, okay, I agree. I'm certain that is correct. But the way we actually operate right now is we're receiving this information. The people that are actually approving expenses and these things that are happening aren't even in the room or maybe even aware that there's problems with the way it's being handled. And I think we need to modify some way. I think there's different ways, but something needs to be done because we're receiving kind of the slap on the hand as the county, as the Finance Committee of the county, but we really on a day-to-day basis aren't watching those things or seeing those things or having discussions about those things. And either we need to start being made aware of what expenses are being approved and how that's being done, and or the health department, I believe, their board has a finance committee of sorts. They need to take responsibility for those things, because right now that's the way bad things happen, is when there's no accountability by the group that's actually approving things.
In the past, the board used to get this 3-ring binder. Sometimes it was fancy, expensive to produce. It was a copy of the audit.
Yeah,
And
and the finance committee does get a report. So.
right, but on the first few pages of that was usually the findings of the auditors. So if we don't have the whole audit, which might not be of benefit to everyone here, maybe at least the findings,
Yeah.
maybe those findings should also be shared with the health department board so they see that in writing about what's being said.
Sure.
If I may.
Yes.
So, going into this audit process, my office has been working with Jill Johnson and Ms. Wheeler, and we are aware that there's probably going to be a couple of findings. Ms. Wheeler and Ms. Johnson and our current financial officer were finding a couple of these issues. However, this report that is referenced in this committee has never been provided to me. So the official findings I have not seen yet. I would love to see them because we have a responsibility to improve any mistakes that we've made.
Right.
So I can't speak to whatever specific issues there are without having seen the report. If I could please have that, then I'd love to start making any corrections that have been made.
Understood, and I guess that's my point, is that the way that this has been working, and I don't think this is anything new, quite frankly, because I've been on the finance committee for 6+ years, and it's been a clunky mess with regards to this how the health board and the county board work together on this topic since I've been on the board, and I guess I'm just saying we need to do something different. I agree with it.
Has there ever been an issue on an audit with the health department besides this audit?
No, but
So it's not the past 6 years, just this one?
But my point is that when the auditors are coming to, technically by the state statute that I emailed you there a month or so ago, it says that the county board is supposed to approve the budget and all those kind of things. There's just a lot of disjointedness between how all this works because we're not actually in the discussions of when your health department board is actually approving that budget. We're just given, here's what they said yes to. And then the audit is being paid for by the county as of now, and we're talking about changing that or having modifications to that. And then we're getting the report, admittedly, that's bizarre because here you and your board don't receive that communication that was done there, and it just needs to be improved because it's just, I'm not saying it's any one person's fault. I think it's been going on like this for years and years, and it just needs to be improved so that everybody knows what's going on and there's the ability to have accountability. Because right now, I don't think there is, and it's not you or the health department's fault. It's bad communication all around.
Lack of communication.
Right, and I guess that's what I'm getting at is we need to change that.
I think it should be noted that the auditors are fact finding. They don't play any favorites. I got dinged in the audit report too.
No, yeah, it's.
I got dinged because Gillen refuses to pay their part of the joint dispatch. So it's just fact finding. I would also add that
I'll get you a copy of that stuff.
I would also add that I did have a conversation with the state's attorney about if for assessments to charge the different townships and so forth for their work, and he doesn't see any reason why we can't do that. But he agreed that he would look into it further, so we'll be hearing more on that going forward.
If I may provide at least one more comment. ICPHD strives for transparency and accountability, even within our own Board of Health. That's why claims go through an approval process. That's why the amount of people that get signed claims before they even go before the board is limited to just one, me. And then even everything that I approve has to be approved. So there is accountability. Being that we are a somewhat separate entity from the county board, sometimes, I mean, maybe that's what you're referencing with when you say clunky communication. So if there are recommendations, and I'd love to see this audit, we'll be happy to make any improvements that we can make because we always should try to improve. But we do and have always strived for accountability.
Right. I think part of that is, I mean, this is just my personal opinion.
with all the problems that have gone on in the health department in the last month or year, 18 months, whatever the heck it's been, when we get questions, and this isn't your fault, or I don't know if it's anyone's fault, I think it just needs to be improved. We, as a county board member, as an elected person, we get questions about, well, what's going on and why did someone approve X, Y, or Z? We don't ever, as county board members, even on the finance committee, have conversations about those expenses. And that may be our fault. We probably should be having those conversations. I'm guessing because the taxpayers expect somebody that they elected to have oversight over that. And when the board's appointed and then making those decisions, it just is, there's many layers of government in there that you can't really get answers to. So the average person on the street goes, Mike, what happened there? And I go, I really don't know. And that's not good enough.
I have to say also, any board member can come to the meetings
Well,
and listen to what's going on.
Can't get it.
I think the problem lies, in my view, more with the state statute. The state statute lays out exactly how these functions are to be conducted, and it provides for the county to be able to do certain things in order to help reduce the overall costs. And so I think that's where some of these entanglements are created. We're not going to get the state statute changed. We're going to have to learn some way to live within that. And I think that's
well. And what I would say is
that we understand what the state statute says and how we can operate within that context.
Right. Agreed. And I think from everything I read in the state statute, it pretty clearly says this board approves their budget. And I would infer from that, maybe incorrectly, and we can ask Jim Devine, that if we're approving the budget, then we need to, as expenditures are being put against it throughout the year, and then there needs to be some sort of oversight, I would think. Otherwise, approving the budget with, and then walking away, really, we're not doing our job, I would say, by that standard.
Perhaps we'll discuss about this further, but I do not think that the county board approves the health department's budget. That's our board of health. The county board does annually look at our tax levy.
Well, this is the
You go ahead and read it, because I got it written down. I can look it up, but it does.
55 ALCS, this is defined. In counties, and this is just from section 5/5-25-25010. In counties maintaining single county health departments, each county board shall appropriate from the county health fund such sums of money as may be sufficient to fund the approved budget of the county health department, so long as those sums have been set out in the annual budget submitted to the county board by the county board of health, and that annual budget has been approved by the county board. I think that's the biggest question about that you have.
Right.
And that's a divine, to make sure we're doing our part, accountability.
I mean, the county health board obviously has to approve it, but we also have to approve it, is what that says to me.
Yeah.
And if we're just rubber stamping whatever they do, and then there's...
It may have prevented the issue with the past with the overnight stuff.
Right. So I think we got to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Later.
Mrs. Cole, you have a comment?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I do. Mr. Behrens has shared with me his copy of the findings. There's the independent and the auditor's report. I think the board needs to see those, and at the very least, if you would request that those be scanned.
Yeah, we'll get them emailed to everybody, including.
Because I know you never several findings.
I do want to note that we are going to have the audit approved next month. So Jill will email all of that stuff out. So she's waiting on the single audit. She's waiting on that to be completed so it can all be done at the same county board meeting. So I think she's planning on getting that sent to all of the board members before the next county board meeting.
Yeah, you're right. They were supposed to, they had it basically done. They just had one more review process to go through on the single audit, and they were going to this is Clifton Larson Allen I'm talking about, and then I think they thought even by today they would have their basically finished on their end, so then we would just have to approve it. But that's why she came and spoke to us, because it was all but done. They had one more little box to check on their side, and then, but it was too close to get it approved on this meeting, so it'll go through. So that should hopefully take care of that part.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments on the Finance IT Committee report? Not, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Awful?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Behrens?
Yes.
Fence?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crow?
Yes.
Ducat?
Yes.
Geiger?
Yes.
Sorry, Doug, I didn't hear you. Hughes? McGinnis? McGinnis?
Yes.
And McTaggart?
Transportation,
McTaggart?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Transportation and Highway Committee, Mr. Ault.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board, your committee to whom was referred Transportation and Highway would beg leave to submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the Iroquois County Highway Building on September 7th at 8:30 a.m. Members present were Alt, Zumwalt, Crow, McGinnis, and Raymond. Also present, Highway Engineer Greg Perkinson and County Board Chairman John Scher. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Crow and seconded by Williams to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There was no public comment. County Engineer Greg Perkinson explained the bids for county striping on the highway. Is that right?
No script.
What's so funny? I mean,
No sense of humor, Chair.
we're open today because there was no bid. I guess nobody wants to do that anymore. Person will reach out to the contractors and possibly open bids at a later date. The claims and financial report for the month were received. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Williams to pay the bills subject to county board approval. The roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There was no new business. Perkins requested adding Pent Oil to the pay no claims list. It was moved by Williams and seconded by Guinness to add Pent Oil to the pay now claims list. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. During the old business, Crow requested an update on resume received for county engineer. The county board chairman, John Scher, said he was advertising for the position again and job fairs are coming up soon. The position has received one applicant so far. Perkinson has a job posting for a maintenance worker and inquired on background checks. Scher recommended Perkinson contact Sheriff Clint Persee. Also during the old business, Perkinson stated that there was $160,000 budget for building repair and he plans to start replacing lights and windows at the highway building. As there was no further business to come before the meeting, it was moved by Williams and seconded by Crow to adjourn at 9:04 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote. All respectfully submit and I move for the acceptance of this report.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the Transportation Highway Committee report. Do we have a second? William, are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Being none, the clerk call the roll, please.
Sure?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Behrens?
Yes.
Fence?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crow? Ducat?
Yes.
Geiger?
Yes.
Hughes? McGinnis?
Yes.
McTaggart? And Awful.
Okay, you have on your agenda, part of your ornaments per month, we have a motion to approve those. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments regarding the appointment? We now all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Next is claims. In addition to the claims that were sent to you, there are some additional claims that were approved at the highway committee meeting, but some of them didn't get on to the list that you have, so that's in the folks trying to get this call.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second by Mr. McTaggart. Are there any questions or comments regarding the claims?
Well, what are the additional claims for the highway department?
My understanding that these claims were approved during the highway committee meeting, but did not make it onto the list that you have in front of you.
Oh, so they were on the list.
Anyone else?
Are there any other questions or comments on the claims? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Watts?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Spence?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crowe?
Yes.
Ducat?
Yes.
Geiger?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
McTaggart?
Yes.
Awful? Yes. Sure.
Yes. That motion carries. Do we have any old business to come before the board this morning? Carl?
In the past, board members took the level 100 IEMA classes, and I think at the time that was required, and I'm not sure if it still is. Plus, we took the open meetings act, we did this at home on our computers, print out a certificate, we had to put it on file. Are we still doing that?
Yes, we got our own new board member to that, but as far as I know, that's the only time we're required to do it.
Right, once, right, okay.
You could make a point that the members that have been here a while, they need to do it again, but that's not usually required. Are there any new business to come before the board this morning? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion at the meeting at the old courthouse in October.
Everybody understand the motion that Mr. Ducat is making? There's a courtroom upstairs at the old courthouse, so we've had a meeting there, it must have been 8 or 9 years ago.
They have Wi-Fi over there?
What?
Do they have Wi-Fi over there?
They do have Wi-Fi. I think the objective is to show the board that, a little more about the museum, how it is important to the county.
We just can't take the tour.
You can take a tour of it, yeah, but it doesn't seem like anybody has been doing that. Yeah.
The courtroom is up on the second floor, so in order to get there, you can take a tour of the first floor and then come on.
A long way.
Yeah, if you got there will be somewhere to show you.
Anybody else have any questions about the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Our October meeting will be held in the courthouse at 9 a.m. It is October 10th. The day after Columbus Day. Anyway, that's one of the week. Is there any other new business? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Bowers. Second by Mr. Duval. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.